Hi, everyone. This is Tisch Aitken, and I'm here to discuss this week's astrological happenings. We just survived a very powerful new moon in Scorpio that took place last evening on October 27th at 11:38 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 4 degrees of Scorpio. Now, this was the degree of last year we had the Venus-Sun conjunction. Venus was retrograde in Scorpio, and they formed a new 8-year cycle at 4 degrees of Scorpio on October 27th of last year. And this new moon set off that point. So if there are things that you have been manifesting since last fall, even though at that time Venus was retrograde, it was internal, it was an inferior conjunction, there could be new things that come to light with that. And certainly this time period defers back to that, because when Venus originally stationed retrograde on October 5th, it was at 11 degrees of Scorpio. And then it stationed direct on November 16th at 25 degrees of Libra. And now we have Mercury just about to retrograde in Scorpio, but it reached its station on October 12th at 11 degrees Scorpio, which, answers back to that time frame. So there are different themes that are coming up since last fall. And last year during the Venus-Sun conjunction, I was actually in Venice Beach, and I remember feeling, it was great to be there. I went there for the purpose of seeing clients and being there for the Venus-Sun conjunction in Scorpio. But I remember feeling kind of this, just a heavy energy. And I was on Venice Beach, and it's beautiful there. I love it there, but I just felt this heaviness. And soon after were the fires in both northern and southern California, which were horrible, and certainly right by me in Venice Beach. They were in Malibu. Just about a week after I left, they started to heat up, and now, unfortunately, we had the new moon yesterday opposite Uranus in Taurus. Now, last November, Uranus re-entered the sign of Taurus. It was going back and forth in 2018. It originally entered Taurus on May 15th of 2018, and then it went back into Aries on November 8th of last year. So it was at the final degrees of Aries. And now we have this and that's just about this time also when things got out of control with the fires. And now we've got the new moon opposite Uranus, which, Uranus and Taurus, Taurus rules the earth. It is how we grow things. It can be very unpredictable. It can be very chaotic, uncontrollable energy. And my heart and prayers go out to everyone in both Northern and Southern California. It sounds very scary, and I wish you all luck, and to the animals, to everybody. It sounds very chaotic. And unfortunately, with Uranus cycles, it often can be very chaotic. And today, the sun is opposite Uranus. So, it can give us epiphanies. It can be enlightened energy, because Uranus is the planet of awakening. It's the great awakener of the zodiac, but it also is very chaotic, very unpredictable. It's the higher octave of Mercury. So it can open up our minds, but sometimes in a very tumultuous way. And, the new moon in Scorpio had a few planets in difficult placements. So the moon in Scorpio, and that's still looming, that energy is still strong. The moon in Scorpio is in its fall because it's exalted in the opposite sign of Taurus. So it's a heavy emotional placement. This is really going to the depths of emotions with all this scorpionic energy right now. And then Venus is in Scorpio right now until November 1st, and it's in its detriment because it rules the opposite sign of Taurus. So also very heavy, emotional, passionate energy around relationships. Can also be a bit challenging with finances, and because Uranus is in Taurus, it's ruled by Venus opposing this new moon. That brings more of that chaotic, but also I think accelerating the heaviness of all this Scorpio. And Mars is currently in its detriment in Libra, and that is Mars just formed an exact square to Saturn, and that can be combative, that can be militaristic, and that was exact on the day of the new moon. So kind of not, new moons are generally a time of really planting new seeds and beginning new things, and that's still the case, but this one had much more of a heavy tone than many new moons often do. And I think, again, really focusing on the healing component of the new moon, because Scorpio is a healing sign. And now we also are going to see Mercury and Venus join up on the 30th. They're going to be conjunct at 27 degrees of Scorpio, and that is a beautiful conjunction. It's very artistic, very creative, very compassionate. But again, we do have Venus in a stormy placement, not for much longer, because it's going to enter the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius on November 1st, where it will transit until November 25th, and that gives us all much needed levity, I think, right now. But Mercury is also going to officially retrograde on Halloween on October 31st, and it's going to retrograde at 27 degrees of Scorpio, and it's going to be retrograde in Scorpio the entire time, and it stations direct on November 20th at 11 degrees of Scorpio, which is where that Venus-Sun conjunction was on October 27th of last year. It cleared its shadow on October 12th of this year when Mercury reached 11 Scorpio. So really focusing on what you want to heal, what the story has been for you since the middle of October, and also certainly last fall when when Venus stationed retrograde at 11 degrees of Scorpio. So this is really doing some heavy, deep thinking. And with the new moon opposite Uranus, because it's so much around Venusian issues and Scorpio issues, there could have been a lot of breakups. Mercury retrograde always uncovers hidden information and things that we didn't know about, but in Scorpio it really brings up the secrets. And with the new moon opposite Uranus, it can bring us epiphanies. It can really make us say, wow, I never saw it in that light before. So it's stormy and heavy energy. I likened it to Catherine and Heathcliff, and I think it is that kind of very passionate but seems almost doomed. And I don't feel that it is doomed, but I think that it can feel like that temporarily sitting with this, because with the retrograde, like last year we had Venus retrograde for a longer period of time because Venus only retrogrades once every year and a half. Now we have Mercury retrograde for the next 3 weeks. It's searching within about what you want to transform in your life, what you want to heal, and also preparing for the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which is around the corner and is a really big deal. And that's going to occur at 22 degrees of Capricorn. And that also answers back to the last time that Saturn and Pluto were conjunct, which was on November 9th of 1982. And that was at 26 degrees of Libra. So we're going back to many different, times. Whether or not you were around at that time, look at what was going on historically, and certainly if you were, look at what was going on. And it can feel heavy and daunting right now, and that's okay. Take a time out, but try to practice extra self-care. And with Venus entering Sagittarius on Friday, that will bring more levity. That will bring a little more joy and fun, certainly much needed. And, Jupiter is in the sign of Sagittarius until December 3rd. So it's not there much longer, but it's in its home sign, and it's going to clear its shadow in the middle of November. And that means that that's where Jupiter originally stationed retrograde in April. So or March, I believe, sorry. So that's going to be bringing things, opening doors up and expanding things as well. So it's not all bad stuff, but it's going through this Scorpio season with a lot of honesty. And again, lots of secrets are going to get uncovered. Lots of wounds that have not been healed in your life might come up for you. There could certainly have been breakups over the weekend, or you might be reassessing your partnerships, your finances, your business partnerships, and things that are no longer working, and really having clarity on this. And if there are things that you're evading or you don't want to face, well, the more honest you are with yourself, the easier that new conjunction coming up in January. Because not only are we going to have that Saturn-Pluto pairing, but we're going to have a solar eclipse 2 days before the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, and that will occur on January 10th. In Capricorn, we're going to have Jupiter, which brings light to matters, and that's going to be, Jupiter's going to enter Capricorn on December 3rd, so we're going to have a whole lot of Capricorn. Mercury is going to be at 23 degrees of Capricorn then, and that's where Pluto originally stationed retrograde on April 23rd of this year. So some things will be coming up at that point that each of us was dealing with in the spring. So again, you know, if you've been working hard with your issues, with your goals, with your ambitions, this could really take form. Saturn is about building structure, but there will be structures collapsing. There will be things that are definitely no longer serving you. And Pluto is going to purge and release what's not working. And what better time to prepare than Scorpio season with a heavy duty Mercury in Scorpio retrograde, which says, hey, you better face this and do it now. So I wish you a lot of luck, and this has been a heavy new moon for everyone, I think, and with the opposition to Uranus, a lot of unexpected twists and turns. People could have gone off the handle, people could be feeling extra emotional, but I think that this is good for doing healing work. And again, Venus will leave the party, the Scorpio party, on Friday, and will be there until November 25th, and that helps to give a little bit more fun. So thank you and take care.